Greetings, everyone. Greetings. I have a great show for you today. Welcome to Esoteric Podcast with your host, me, John Yah. And we're going to talk about Ghana and the relationship with Ghana and African Americans. I have a brother that I've been knowing for maybe about 20 years now. And he's actually one of the reasons my business is successful in Cincinnati, actually. And so he's a coach, and he's been coaching actually in high schools for some time since I met him. And he is in Africa. Actually, he just took off and he just left, right? And it wasn't no joke. He packed all his stuff, took a big old container, and he is a part of a group that is called the Ghana Mission. You're going to want to know about this because I'm going to ask questions that a lot of times we may talk about behind closed doors about Africans and how Africans from the continent feel about African Americans. We're going to talk about the relationship. We're going to talk about the currency, how currency works between Ghana and the U.S. currency. We're going to talk about what you need to know if you plan to move there or go there yourself for a visit. We're going to be talking about quite a few things. We're going to be talking about China. We're going to be talking about gentrification that's going on there too. So we're really going to get it in. So if you want to know something about Ghana, this is where you want to be. And if you have any questions, please come in and chat in with us and ask whatever questions you want. Now, with that said, I want to thank those that if it wasn't for them, this show would not be possible. First, attorney Carl Price with Conscious Fever, Ice Entertainment Radio. And if you check him out, he's got some great conversations going on that show. Also with Joe Tapper with the Tipping Point Morning Show, where he is the host and me am the co-host of that show every Saturday morning on WLOU in Louisville, Kentucky, and on Facebook, Instagram, and I believe YouTube. Yeah. And so also Frank Stoner with Health Daddy Wild. Also, if you're in Louisville, Kentucky, you want to look that brother up. Definitely, if you need any herbs or whatever, he's got it for you. Also, Kari Muhammad, which is Incredible, definitely who does the graphic for me. If you need graphics done, that's the guy you want to go to. Also, I want to thank Phyllis Myers, aka Say I Tell Emmanuel, with Body Energy, right? If your body is weak or you need some body energy works, I'm sorry. If you need your body worked on, that's who you want to go to for some traditional Chinese work, right? And also Dr. Akmal Moakil out of Maryland. Definitely you see him on this show a lot. He is with Healings Arts. And if you need to talk with him directly, you can look him up at healingart.net. All right. So anyway, back to this. We want to bring you a great show. We want you to chime in, join us, and let's talk about some things. And what we do basically, I try to bring you a show to bring you information that the mainstream media is not going to talk about. And so therefore, I try to bring you love. When I bring you this information, it's all free. It's all for us to chime in and grow. Hopefully we can build up on it. So show your love back by just giving us a like, thumbs up, share. We got to share content. We got to be able to learn how to communicate amongst each other and how we're going to communicate amongst each other around the world, right? So anyway, let me bring this brother in so we can have this build. Brother Nadir.
Yes.
How you doing, brother?
Praise be to God. Praise be to the creator of the universe, the ancestors, my mom, my dad, my siblings, grandparents, great grandparents, and thank you. And I have to say, thanks to my beautiful daughter Ayo and my family and all of the people in Cincinnati, Ohio, and other places, Philadelphia, New York, different places where I have friends, Atlanta, who have been supportive of this blessing, this journey that I've been blessed to make a serious move, a very intentional, purposeful move. And how it occurred is studying African history in college at the University of Cincinnati. And so having that opportunity to, come into consciousness, come into, Afrocentric understanding come closer to understand who I am in the 90s. And, so having that opportunity really awakened and cultivated who I am. And it's also for me personally important to also say that having the experience, the relationship, and being a student of Imam Warif Muhammad for 20 years of my life is also impactful in terms of who I am now and some of the things that I do. And so I always will give some homage and regard to Imam Warif Muhammad for his insight, his wisdom, and such a beautiful person. So,
Yeah.
but
So who did you hook up with? How did this journey begin? That you ended up with a group to go into Africa and to build that?
no, well, actually, probably about 25 years ago or so, I woke up one early morning, was watching television, and it was talking about the motherland, and it was just a report on Ghana, and Ghana being one of the places that was open to us coming home, and like I said, in the 90s, I was always about, I'm gonna get to the motherland one day. I remember actually, being in class and we were studying about, the slave trade, the whole, process, and just seeing what they were doing to our ancestors, studying that. I wanted to, and it was actually Sierra Leone was the first place that pricked my conscience and my spirit that I wanted to go to the slave dungeons and see and walk through the whole experience of what occurred with our ancestors. So, but speed up to, the last 4 or 5 years, there's an elder in our community that actually is over here now. His name is Nana Nasi. So Nana Nasi, I remember in 2000 when he had a shipping container in Cincinnati and he asked for, requesting donations for people to donate. And I remember, just donating. This is like in 2000. I donated some items that he brought over. So he was coming back and forth for many years. He stayed in Ghana for a while. Well, how it all came together was over the last 5 or 6 years during the summertime. My background is mental health and social work. So over the last 5 or 6 years, I worked in different school systems. So in the summer, I'm off work. So I will work with him and his landscaping company, just helping him out. And what I want you to understand is at the time I started, I think he was like 72, 73 years old. He's like 75 now. Okay. So over the last couple of years, we'll just be talking about the motherland. He had been going back and forth over the last couple of years. And he's also actually a chief in the Western region here in Ghana. So I was like, I'm going to get so in 2018, it was, my 50th birthday, I wrote in my journal, I'm going to get my passport. I'm going to get me a ticket to the motherland. So I wrote in my journal, and, the beautiful thing about writing in journals is you go back and look at the reflections of what you wrote. They really do come off the page and become live if you manifest the energy and spirit towards what you write. So I got my passport. I bought a ticket and got a ticket in 2019, and then COVID came. So when COVID came, I didn't really panic, and like I said, me and Nana Nasi, I talk pretty regularly. And so it was like, well, they shut things down for a minute. And so my thing was, well, whenever they open it up, we'll see what we'll do next. So at the time, I was only planning to come for 3 weeks. So my goal was to come for 3 weeks, but I had set 2 years prior. So let's say like 2017, probably 2017, 2018. I put money aside with the intention that at some point I would live here. So it was kind of already in my spirit. But like I said, when I bought the ticket, I was going to do, just a fact finding process to come for 3 weeks, check things out, and go from there. But once COVID happened, things occurred in my family, and I'm always, giving homage and remembrance of my family. And I want to do this real quick. I lost my aunt, Patricia Swanson, which is my mother's best friend. And then I lost my dad. So both of my aunt and my dad both passed in 2019, like 2020.
That was right before you left, though, right? Yeah.
Right before I left. Like my dad passed 5, 6 months before I left. So my aunt and dad passed probably within like 4 or 5, 6 months apart, something like that. So at that point, just meditating, reflecting, praying, I decided a paradigm shift. I'm like, I ain't really rocking with those concepts of COVID. And if anybody has been watching me on Facebook, probably like after the third week of COVID, I would work out every day. I would go outside like at least twice a week. On Saturdays, I would walk, and there was a group of beautiful sisters. They started working out with me,
Yeah,
and then I would ride. We would ride bikes on Sunday, so we would walk on Saturday, and then ride bikes on Sunday. So by that time, my mind was made up. I was like, I'm not. I'm going when I come over. I'm staying. So, like I said, me and Nana Nasi was talking about the container. So the beautiful thing was, I decided to buy a container. I purchased a 40-foot container. And actually, I purchased it about 3 weeks before I was going to leave. And so all I did is just, I posted on Facebook, letting people know I'm going to the motherland. If you want to donate towards the motherland. And at that time, that's when the concept of Wimpy's Journey to Ghana Mission. Now, so for the people who know me, Wimpy is my nickname. So
right.
my life growing up, my name, before I changed my name, was William Alonzo Isaac Woods, but I used the nickname Wimpy. Right. My dad's nickname was Pee Wee. My nickname was Wimpy. So most of my life, like literally, even as an adult, I always used Wimpy until when I changed my name in 1993. But, Wimpy, I'm known in Cincinnati. People know Wimpy, you know what I'm saying? So it was a time I wouldn't even like to use the nickname, but it came back around. And so I used Wimpy. I mean, Wimpy is and was a good young man.
Yeah.
And so, and the thing about it was I was always thinking about writing a book. So when I was thinking about writing a book, the title was always going to be, the first book will be Wimpy's Journey. So what has also occurred, I've been writing in my journal, and within the next year, this year or next, for sure, I'll complete my first book called Wimpy's Journey. But then the other part came with the Ghana Mission. So it started out just me coming. But when I bought the container and started understanding some of the needs that were here and some of the things that I can do in terms of serving. And one of the things about me is I always been a person who served the community, always active in the community.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is influenced from my grandfather, Bishop Abraham Isaac Jacob Swanson XII. Made it create a blessing with paradise. He passed, but he was a very prominent pastor and very prominent minister, not only a minister, but he had his own live gospel radio show for 42 years on a talk radio show called WCIN, which was historical for Blacks in Cincinnati. He came to Cincinnati from Nashville, Tennessee in the 60s. So, he kind of revolutionized church in Cincinnati. He was very powerful. He was only 49, but a very powerful leader, pastor, public servant. So watching him, it was just natural. It was in my DNA just to serve community. So, when I got the container, was blessed to get the container, I just let the people in the community know I'm going to the motherland, and I will always give regard to the citizens of Cincinnati. There was also
I think I lost you. Lost your sound. Oh well, let's see. Let's see if we can get him back. Okay, so I don't know. We'll see if we get him back. We'll just hold him for a minute. So this is, again, a talk about his journey, Wimpy's journey to Ghana and his mission. Let's see if he comes back in here so we can finish this build. Let's see. You able to get back in? Are you good? Let's see. Okay. All right.
Technical difficulties, ain't it?
That's okay. It's all
I'm
good.
back.
Good, good. Let me ask you a question. What is the Ghana mission?
I can't hear her.
Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Huh? I can hear you.
I don't know what's going on with the technology. Okay, here we go.
Can you hear me?
All right, you got me back?
Yeah, I got you back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you with some technical difficulties. So I apologize for that. But
Okay.
as I was saying, my grandfather, just watching him, what he did and served. So it was just a natural inclination for me in terms of all the things I've done in the community. So I just let the community know that I was going to the motherland, and if they wanted to donate or, provide anything for me to take over. And I have to say, like, as I was saying before it cut off, I always want to thank the people of Cincinnati, even some friends from Louisville, Lynetta Shipley, and a sister, Joanna Milton from Philadelphia. A sister came all the way from Philadelphia and brought some items for me to take to the motherland. So, and the beauty of it was they literally filled up almost a whole 40-foot container in like 2.5 weeks. I left, and the container was almost full, but it was still some room. And I left, and Nana Nasi, he made sure that my container as well as his got on the water. So it took about, it was like maybe like 4 months, almost 4.5, 5 months before it came, because the containers got on the water around like December. So, and it was coming from the East Coast, like New York, New Jersey. And, the snowstorms and all the things that happened in the States this past winter slowed up the process of the ships, getting it to Ghana in a shorter time frame. But it was fine. So for me, just to let people know, I came with 2 suitcases, decent sized suitcases, a duffel bag, and another book bag on my back. And that's pretty much all I had. So for the first 5 months, that's what I live my life with. That's how.
Are you bringing the container back and forth? Are you bringing the container back to be filled up again to take back?
Well, I'm kind of looking at that, but right now I'm not looking at bringing one back just yet. What I will say is there's a chance potentially that I may get another one in the future. So it's just something I have to look at. But also what I would say is bringing a container to the motherland is a blessing way broader than I ever could imagine.
You went through a lot. You went through a lot through customs, didn't you?
I went to a ton, but let's talk about that part first. So once the container arrived in customs, and it's on video. If you go back on my page, you can check out the whole experience. And that was the other thing that I wanted it to be clear. I would video live because I wanted people to see my real experience and see the real experience of coming to the motherland, seeing things in the motherland. And my purpose was, one, to break a lot of misconceptions, but also show it for real, show a real experience of somebody really coming to the motherland and living in the motherland, not coming and having like a short week to maybe 3 weeks, a month experience, but having a whole real experience. And so got the customs. It took like a week and a half. I say about a week and a half, 10 days to a week and a half to actually get my container off, out of customs. But one of the things that occurred is it was actually my first time experiencing a sense of, if you will, discrimination. So while I was at customs, a gentleman said to me, "We tagged your container because you're American, and we know y'all gangsters. That's actually what he said. So you
Mm.
probably got weapons in there. I was like, so I started laughing, like, nah, I don't have no weapons. So they took out. They normally, I think the technical rule is maybe 30%, but they took out. They probably took out more. I would say like from the back, from the opening door of the container, maybe about 30 or 40 yards on both sides. They took stuff out. So they was taking things out, and prior to even getting to that point where I can watch them do this, they wasn't actually going to let me. I had a brother with me, my friend named Lonzo from Texas this year. They actually weren't going to even let us go. They was just going to have the agent go and represent us. But the agent was like, no, that's not actually the rules. But it was actually me having the ability to communicate and advocate and touch the heart and the intellect of this individual that made him change his mind. Because really, he wasn't even going to go with the Ghanaian agent had requested. So, I just, use my spirit, use my intellect, use my intuition, and spoke to
When you say
truth.
when you say taking stuff out, do you mean taking it out as a search or taking it out and keeping it?
Well, their statement was they're taking out to search. Okay. But what I want people to understand is this: when they were taking it out, they literally was more interested in taking it out to shop. So if I wouldn't have been standing there, trust me, there would have been things missing. For example, when they took my things out, I had like some U-Haul boxes. So one of my U-Haul boxes had hats in it.
Mm-hmm.
This gentleman opened up the box, and I'm standing there watching him, right? I'm kind of behind him, but I'm watching him. He went in the box like 5 times, and he went to the point, it was this one particular hat he actually liked. He almost tried put it on. So, they weren't really looking, they were looking like searching, but they were more out. To me, it was more looking to see like, okay, he got some nice stuff. Boom, 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 boom. And I ain't had no weapon, so I wasn't worried about that. But the beauty of being in the motherland, and one of the things you learn is when you come to the motherland, every individual is blessed to come to the motherland. Every individual has their own experience. And I didn't want to walk away. I didn't want to be, I didn't want to never have an opportunity where I couldn't experience everything I supposed to experience. Right. So I wanted to be right there at the container. I wanted to experience the whole thing. And it was beautiful because it tested my patience. It taught, and I was very patient. I was very cool. I mean, it was things that they were saying to me. I just was cool, just going through it. And I say to you, John, that one of the things over the last few years I've cultivated in myself what I call a spirit of acceptance. So I was ready to accept whatever they was gonna bring. I wasn't worrying. I don't worry. I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And so I'll go through whatever it takes. And I say to the people, I literally got to customs at 11 o'clock. When we finished the whole process, it was almost 7 o'clock in the morning before my container in the truck pulled the container off the yard. Wow. So it was a long, and then the week prior, my first day I was there 8 hours. The second day I was there 6 hours with immigration, with the people in customs. And I say it was some gentlemen that were customs officers that was beautiful. They were a blessing. They were very patient and understanding, and they was willing to help me with the process. So it's Wimpy's journey. It was just part of my journey. It was part of what I was supposed to go through in terms of this kind of mission. So, but I learned, and now I know, I understand. So if somebody wanted to bring a shipping container over, all they have to do, and I'm this kind of person, call me, hit me on Facebook. I'm gonna answer every question. I'm gonna hold your hand all the way through the door. That's just just how I am. And I'm not really looking for money. If you want to give me a donation for helping you, that's fine. But that's not my intentions. It's really about the power of coming home. It's powerful. It's not only powerful, John. It's really mandatory for real. And I say this, and as I'm saying this, I'm getting chills, my brother, because it is. And within my Within my first 3 days, I was clear that I was destined to be here. It was by no accident. The decision I made was why, and this is where I'm supposed to be. And I say to our people, like, if you say your ancestors came from the motherland, you might not do what I'm gonna do, okay? But at least make it one time in your life to put your boots. We call it put your boots on this ground.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put your boots on this ground, it's things that's gonna cultivate who you are. It's gonna challenge you on every level. So if you're coming over here and you think it's all about being a materialist and things of that, it's gonna challenge every part of you. But if you're really looking inside yourself and understand the energies is shifting. We're in a shift time. We're in a blessed time. And so coming over here and like I told when I spoke with you yesterday, John, I mentioned this, and I'm gonna say this to the people. The key to the motherland is the diasporans, the African Americans, the brothers and sisters from the Caribbean, brothers and sisters from all over who haven't been here. When we come home and look at the opportunities, right? We are the key to the motherland getting to where it should be. And I say this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Go ahead. I said because why? I mean, I was going to ask why you say that. Are you saying that because of who we are here and what we have accomplished here and what we could accomplish here to take that information or that knowledge back home?
It's both.
Okay.
Why I say that is this. When I left Cincinnati, Ohio, I left Cincinnati, Ohio with this kind of mindset. I'm going to be humble. I'm coming to learn. I'm coming to connect with my ancestors, my ancestral spirit, and I'm coming to look at the opportunities, how I can help cultivate here. When our people with all the skills, knowledge, and understanding come to the motherland and connect with these ingenuous, beautiful brothers and sisters in the motherland who also, now there's deep misconceptions on both sides of the water.
Okay.
There's deep misconceptions about us, right? Because they got pumped like the negativity about us, TV pumped negativity about us. And then the negativity, even as growing up, we didn't like ourselves in terms of we used to use Africans as jokes. But when we come together, come over here, and there's opportunities here that you can literally cultivate without any problems. And then Ghana is known for being a very peaceful place, and the people are very peaceful and beautiful people. It's opportunities on many levels. If you got skills in trades, you got skills in construction, you got skills in engineering, you have skills in as medical. I'm gonna give you this one example. I'm a basketball guy, so how I came to basketball here, I wasn't even looking and coming here planning with basketball as a specific as my first focus. Well, my third day, which was the 12th of November. So that was the other reason I chose to come at this time. I wanted to celebrate my birthday in the motherland. So my first celebration of birthday was in November, this past November, which was my third day. I got here on the 9th of November. As me and my brother Lonzo are on our way to pay homage to the ancestors, because where I live in near like 10 minutes, 15 minutes between Cape Coast Slave Dungeon and Elmina Slave Dungeon, right? And that was the first area I came to settle, and that was the advice of Nana and I see. So we on our way to the slave dungeon, Cape Coast. We in a taxi. We drive around this corner. I see this basketball court. So anybody who know Wimpy Woods know that basketball is my life. It was like 100 Ghanaian youth on the court. As we coming around the corner, now this park and this court is around the corner from Cape Coast Slave Dungeon in Cape Coast, which is a very historical, important site in the history of us. I told the taxi, stop. I jumped out. Jumped out I run on the court. Well, at this time, there were the young people were split up into, so you had 50 youth on one side, 50 on the other. I run on the court. I say, throw me the ball. Guy threw me the ball. I put on a ball handling show in center court. I probably did it for like 3-4 minutes. Well, kids start, clapping and, applauding. So this young lady walk up. The young lady was a Caucasian young lady, about 5'11", looked like an athlete. She said, excuse me. She said, thank you. We're about to, continue the basketball camp. She came over with I guess like a nonprofit organization, or they call them NGOs over here, which is non-government organization. She was doing a basketball camp. She said, I'm from Missouri. I played Division I ball, boom, boom, boom. I was like, okay. Then she said, would you like to play me in one-on-one? So she wanted to play me in one-on-one. She said, we can go to 3. I said, okay, fine, no problem. We can go to 3. So we go to 3. I win 3-0. I'm not losing. And I say to you, it didn't matter who was on the court at that moment. I wasn't losing.
Yeah.
And so what happens from that is I beat her, I leave. I go pay homage to the ancestors at Cape Coast. Was blessed that me, the brother Lonzo, and the tour guide was the last ones who were there. We closed the place down, the sun set, and I was able to make salat. I was able to pray in the direction that our ancestors left coming to the Americas. So it was strong. It was deep. It was Maghrib prayer. You know what I mean? So what happens is we leave there, and then I had like a little birthday celebration at a place called One Africa, which is a very important site that's owned by a diaspora, an elder. That's a beautiful place for people. It's a resort. So, yeah. And the thing about basketball, to the point, the college basketball players here play outside. They play most of college basketball and high school. Most of their games are outside in a park. They have very few indoor facilities, right? So after that day that I did the ball handling expedition, the next week I went back to that same park. It's called Victoria Park. And it's an organization called Hoops Care International. So I go back, play ball with the guys, and that was on a Thursday. That Thursday, I said, look, I'm gonna do a training at this park. Meet me here. When I got to the park, it was 8 o'clock, 8:30. It was 24 youth waiting on me. And so for my first 6 weeks here in Ghana, in Cape Coast, in my organization for basketball is called Top Cat. I trained, the youth for 6 weeks. And so Top Cat means critical athletic thinking. So I teach critical thinking through the game. So I don't just teach basketball. And the beauty of this is this, y'all. By me doing this training with basketball here in Ghana, and I say to you, since that, and that was only my second week here. Since the second week I've been here to now, I've been here 9 months. I've already trained and touched close to 200 youth here in Ghana with basketball. But that's just the small part. The bigger part is this. By me having it blessed to have this opportunity, what I'm also learning is many of the youth and many of the adults in Ghana don't actually know African history. Right? In terms of African history, in terms of our side of African history, in terms of what happened to their great-great-grandparents and grandmothers and grandfathers when we were shipped over to the States and to the Caribbean.
So they're not.
A lot of them don't know. Some of them
they're not taught that.
Go ahead.
They're not taught that.
A lot of them ain't taught it. No, a lot of them are not. And those who are taught it, sometimes, like I have a neighbor, when we talk about things from time to time, they don't like to remember the history because of the pain of it, right? So one other time after that, I ended up training at another court in Accra, in the capital area. And it was 20 youth, and this was a spontaneous moment. I'm just driving down the street. It's like I see a basketball court. I go to the basketball court because my goal is to touch every basketball court in Ghana. So I go to the court, and I knew the coach. So he gave me about 15 minutes on training. So one of the things I asked the youth, like, have y'all been to Cape Coast and Elmina? Cape Coast and Elmina is in the central region. So in Ghana, everything is separated by regions. These are two historical sites, right? Castle Dungeon, slave dungeon in Elmina, slave dungeon in Cape Coast. And if you stand at a certain part of this is along the Atlantic Ocean, and I live in that area right now. If you can stand on a certain part of the beach and look east and west and see both slave dungeons. They're not that far from each other.
Okay.
Right? They're like a 10-minute, 15-minute drive to each. So these 20 youth said they had never been. Right? So chances are by either the end of this year or next year for sure, I'm actually going to sponsor that group of youth to go and learn. So what this does is it gives me an opportunity to teach them some of the history they should know, and also it helps me to break misconceptions so they understand who I am and what my importance is to them and what their importance is to me. So it's been a beautiful experience just with that's just one part of it. And so I can't forget this. So after I beat the young lady in one-on-one, the next day, a Ghanaian that I'm friends with, he's a rapper. His name is Talibo, a great guy named Talibo. Talibo comes to meet me. He said, "Hey, coach," he said, and he's from Cape Coast. He said, some kids was talking about this coach from America was just here. And so what happened was after I beat the young lady, I went to this camera and I said, "My name is Coach Nadir. I'm from America. I'm from A1. So A1, for the people from Cincinnati, that's Avondale. That's the neighborhood. It's called A1. And
Right.
Believe it or not, Avondale is shaped like Africa. So these connections ain't by accident. So I said, so he says, this is the next day. He said, they said, Coach won. He said, Coach, the kids start calling you Coach One. So here in Ghana, I don't use Coach Nadir because part of it is they don't say the R. In terms of Ghanaian English speaking, R is not a letter that they say, kind of great. So I introduce myself as Coach One. And so when I introduce myself as Coach One, the people smile, they like it. Another thing, when I give my number to any of these Ghanaian youth, I don't care if they're 8 years old or if they 25, they show you some of the highest respect because I'm a coach. Like even call me sometime, they be like, Coach, is everything going okay? How are you doing? Right. And so all around Ghana now, I'm known as Coach One, like literally, like, so the village where I spend most of my time is called Ayin Sudu. All right. It's part of Elmina, but it's going west. It's going west. So, and it's on the same road, the same 2-lane road. So in Ayin Sudu, that's the first place I stayed. I stayed at a guest house owned by brother Kofi and sister Ajwa. Brother Kofi passed. They were from Philadelphia, and so they've been here like 30 years. And so sister Ajwa is the owner of this place called Esteem. It's a guest house. So and it's in Ayin Sudu. And so now being in that community, I've also volunteered at two of the schools. There's the Islamic school, and there's the school called Akoma. Math and Science Academy, and the Math and Science Academy is actually owned by a diaspora sister from Detroit. Her mother was the original founder from Detroit. So I've volunteered my time. I was like the gym teacher at Akoma one time, and then I've been at the Islamic school. Actually, sometime early on, I would go sit in the class with the 4th and 5th graders and try to learn some of the treats, some of the language. So now the kids, they all know me. So when I walk around the village, Coach One, Coach, that's everybody call me, the adults, everybody, Coach One, Coach One. So, and then, and also my container sits on the campus at the Islamic school. So the youth have helped me. I've done things. I've given out items to about over 40 families, stuff to the school. I still got more things that I'll be giving out. What I also learned is having a container is not no easy task. You need definitely a team to work things out. But once again, I want to thank everybody who have donated to the container, and everybody who has been giving me support since I've been here on my, a lot of the videos that I show on Facebook, just the love, appreciation. People have sent me, donations through Cash App. So I'm thankful.
Let me ask you this, and let me ask you about, let's talk about currency and the relationship with doing business with Ghanaians.
Okay.
If you know that you are African American. Okay, so let's talk about the currency. What is the trade for the currency there for dollar upon how much is it worth in Ghana, and what can you buy with that?
Okay, so the money in Ghana is called CDs. So it's like it's spelled CEDIS. They call them CDs. So the exchange rate, I think right now is around like 5.8, 5.9. So for the most part, if you brought 100 American dollars to Ghana, you're gonna get about $580, $590. So 500 CDs, can go pretty long. It can go for at least 3 to 4 days, depending on what you're doing. Like it just depends. If I'm more have cultivated a life that's more close to a minimalist. I like nice things, but I'm also, I'm not caught up on stuff. But you can 500 CDs can buy. What can 500 CDs buy? You can eat with 500 CDs. Probably a couple of weeks. I mean, or more. I mean, and then I give you an example. All right, so here's a simple example. If I wanted to travel, let's say that I'm trying to give you, let's say like 3 miles. No, let's do this. Let's say if I want to travel to the continent, right? I mean, to the capital. I'm sorry. If I want to travel to the capital, which is like a 3.5 hour drive, cost of traffic, it would cost me 25 CDs. So if you translate it to American money, it's like $5.
$5, yeah.
Like a 3-hour drive. Okay. All right. And so that's like an example. If I wanted,
that's like a 3-hour drive for $5.
$5.
Yes. Over here in the States, that will be comparison.
Yeah,
and 3 hours.
Yeah, and I'm gonna share.
That's includes gas and the drive service.
And this is now understand this. This is over here. The public transportation are minivans, different styles of minivans. Okay. That's one, and then they also have taxis. So if you drive it like this, an individual taxi, it could potentially, depend. It could potentially be about 200 CDs. Okay. Now let me give you, another example in terms of food. Now they have tilapia over here. Tilapia is popular, but tilapia is different than tilapia over there. All right. And you also got to understand, I'm on the Atlantic Ocean. So the day after my birthday, I'm walking along the Atlantic Ocean in the morning, and I met this man who was fishing. He had a net. He walked into the ocean, like in an area that was kind of shallow, threw his net out and caught like 3 fish. Bam. So he can eat right now. He had already had some red snapper. He had caught like on across the road is a river in the El Mina Cape Coast area. So he had like five fish, a couple of tilapia, and a few red snapper. All right, so a tilapia. So if I wanted to go buy me a tilapia, I can get a nice. I'm talking about nice, and they grill, and it's real good. I can get a whole tilapia, and they doing a whole fish. I eat the whole fish. Some people don't like to eat. I eat the whole fish for about anywhere between 12 and 20 CDs, and it's only based on the size because they have some that's huge. So if you're getting one for 20 CDs, what is that? That ain't, what's that? $4?
It's $4. Yeah.
$4 American dollars. And then if I go, so I can get a meal. I get some fried rice, a tilapia for about 25 to 30 CDs. So that's like $5 or $6. Okay. Now, if you go to the market, of course because when you go to the market here, you can get your vegetables, you can get everything right there. People cook, so it don't cost a lot to eat here. And then another thing, the fruit. The fruit, the vegetables, the herbs, and the medicine is everywhere. So a coconut, you can drive down the road, get you a coconut, a fresh coke, exactly, fresh.
I wanted to
That
ask you about
costs,
this. That's why I pulled it out. So I saw
yeah,
a picture of you drinking
drinking it,
out of this, and
right?
you was eating also the meat from it.
Meat, yes,
Let me
yes.
ask you a
Let me tell
question.
you, go ahead.
What do they call coconut over there?
You know what, bro? I'm glad you asked me. I don't even know. They call it coconut, as far as I know. They might have a traditional name, but the coconut. So the beauty of that is this: it's a young man or young lady that's selling. They might have a cart with 50 of them, or they have the whole tree with a whole lot of them, right? So that right there would probably cost about anywhere between 2 and 2.5, like two and a
CDs.
half, like two CDs. Yeah, two. So let's say
Two
it's
and a
two.
half CDs. That's
Yes,
like
two,
what,
two.
70 cents?
Yeah,
This
no
thing
more than a
costs
dollar.
$4 over here, three
Right.
ninety
And
nine.
look, and then what they do is they cut it up, open it up so you can drink the water. Then when you finish drinking the water, you give it back to him. He got a machete, he or she, but mostly it's guys. Got a machete. He gonna make like three uh, cuts in it. Open him up, and they take a portion of the coconut, the skin, where you can dip, make it like a scooper. You dip out the meat, or they even put the meat in the plastic. And so that's plentiful. You go get a pineapple. Like you can buy one pineapple, it's 5 CDs, it's $1. And they cut it up and you can eat it right now. And I'm talking about get you a couple pineapples, you good for a long time that day. You know what I'm saying? So and then they have like where I live, I have a good relationship with this elder, and she really into healthy stuff. So it's this bush, and it's a lot of this particular bush. This one particular bush, she boils it, and then it's like medicine for your blood. It's good for your blood. So over here, they got this thing called soursop that's also good for your blood, and they got stuff for high blood pressure, everything. They everything our people need. So all our people don't die, this diabetic, all that. Fly over here, stay a month, eat this healthy stuff. Cause even with me, as athletic as I am, I'm hooping on the park like I hooped back on the park when I was in my 20s. Like
Wow.
literally. And then what happens is they look at my grade and they be like, okay, I'm gonna check the old man, but that don't last long. you know. And then the other thing I want to say too is I've been embraced here like I've been living here 10 years. I mean,
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm embraced. They embrace me,
Yeah.
just coach, that I play at the park with the guys. I walk around the village with the guys. And one of the experience I just had that really set it off for me, and I'm humble about it, it was just deep. I'm walking through the village. And so I hear Coach One. And I'm looking for the voice. It's a little boy. He probably every bit of one, but he knew who I was, right? And part of that is because I've been giving in the village. Like I had a friend, Kelvin Hill and Kenny, they came over. I say, look, send me some socks. I buy the socks. People donate money to me on Cash App. I take the money and buy stuff, bring it over. I take it to the school. Kids helped me with the container when I first got the container, get stuff organized. I gave them all CDs and gifts. So I'm out here serving the people. I ain't taking nothing.
Right.
And then let me tell you another thing. Now, this is another thing. Where I live, I have a 1-bedroom apartment. Everything is tile, every floor, even the porch is all tile. Okay, nice size. I'm talking about a real nice size. I'm at my brother Lonzo house because till I get my computer situation straight. So nice, right? Bigger than the apartment I had in America. So here's how much my apartment costs. I have a 2-year lease. It's $49 a month for 2 years. You do the math.
Wow. So you pay by yearly, or do you actually pay by the month? I think y'all pay by the yearly.
No. Well, some places they accept monthly, but a lot of places, a lot of people who own property, they want at least a year or two. They want, and you just pay it off. So
Wow.
the thing is, you just paying it off. It ain't.
Wow.
It ain't. Yeah, you just paying it off. And then I've talked to some people. It's a area here. It's called a Cebu, and it's an area identified for diasporans. One of the areas in Ghana identified for diasporans can buy land and build. So there's brothers and sisters over here building in this area, and they buying plots for like it was you could buy them for 700. It's like 80 by 100 or 100 by 100 measurement. But now you can buy a plot for 700, 1,000, or like 1,200. You can buy some land over here. You can,
and you buy the
ahead.
land. Well, I don't. I still want to get back to the currency and the treatment.
Go ahead, sure.
Trade, but let's do this first. Let's come back to that land. But let's do that.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
What about the relationship when it comes to what should you know if you come over there and you're gonna buy something? I've always heard that whatever they offer you, pay half of that. So how do they do that when it comes to they know you speak English and they go how much they gonna jack that price up on you?
Great question. So let me share this is another thing. When they see us, as soon as they see us, they have a they got a thing that they know us Americans. So when they hear us speak English, especially when it comes to business, especially when it comes to traveling on their transportation, they try to take advantage of it, right? So for example, something that might cost 2 CDs, they're gonna say it's 5, right? Right. When you go in stores, something that might be, let's say it's 20 CDs, they're gonna probably say it's 40 or 50. So one of the things that I had to learn this fast. Because I'll be honest, I'm always be transparent. My first day, I got taken advantage of because I was traveling. I didn't realize the distance from the capital to out here in the central region. So I got charged probably like maybe 100 CDs, 200 CDs more I was supposed to. Okay, and then the transportation that they use in terms of the vans are called trotro. So I learned the trotro trick. So even Ghanaians laugh when I say that. I learned the trotro trick to learn the prices. Now, the way you learn the prices is this, and what you have to understand. The better you build relationships with Ghanaians, especially good Ghanaians, and many of the Ghanaians are good, but then they also got some hustle game in them because you got to understand, over here, economically, it's challenging for them. So when they see Americans, they think we all rich. Or if you American, or you from Europe, you speak English, they think you're rich, right? So they're gonna try to go in your pocket. But one of the things you learn is you get Ghanaians to teach you what the prices are. That's one thing. Another thing is you have to learn some of the language, because if you don't know, and when I say some, I'm only talking about like 5 words for real. So yeah. You got to learn keywords. So here's one of the keywords. So when I go to shop, right? So I'll give you an example. My friends came over, took them out. We went to the market. Because I knew this one word, right? I knew this one statement. It changed the whole process of what they was being charged. So you say this word, it's called dabby. So you say dabby, right? Or they say dabby, or they say dabby-o, right? When they're speaking. Dabby means no. So when I was taking them to the market, and if anybody came over here with me and they went to the market and they went to buy something and I'm with them and I know the price wrong, I say dabby. Because see what they tend to not realize is we learn the language. So they think you don't know the language. So when you say dabby, then they're, oh, he know the language. So now they have a whole different way they deal with you. And then another thing I learned is this: you must advocate for yourself, because they try to cheat you. So it's been times I've been on the trotro, on the minivan traveling, and they don't try to give me my change. I check them. They don't like to fight, and I ain't trying to fight, but they like to argue. But they don't like you to make them feel bad about them doing you wrong. So I just was on the trotro the other day, and I had to tell the guy, you only trying to cheat me because I speak English. And some other Ghanaians came to my aid on the trotro. I'm like, give him his change. You know that ain't the price, but I already knew the price, right? And then they like to barter. So understand, when you come over here, you got to barter. You got to know how you can't accept their first price, because if you accept their first price, you're being taken advantage of.
Wow.
And you gotta, and then you don't look at it as like be mad. You got to understand, if I'm coming from an environment where on some levels it's over here is hand to mouth. If they don't eat, if they don't sell something, like when you see a sister, brother, mostly sisters carrying stuff on their head, they might have oranges. They might start out with 50 oranges on their head. They walking all day for like 10, 12 hours
trying to sell them oranges. If they don't sell an orange, they ain't made no money for the day. So they don't eat. So you got to understand it's not always purposeful. It's just part of the culture. It's just, you know, this is what the culture, the culture of the impoverished cultivation has been established here, unfortunately. You know, there's a poverty, you know, and you know this, and I'm saying this to our people. They place poverty and keep the motherland in an impoverished kind of way so they can continue to take from the motherland.
Yeah.
So what happens is the people kind of, it affects the common people from that standpoint. But the one thing I say to you, bro, that person is standing with whatever they got on their head or whatever they selling it. They believe it's gonna sell. They ain't crying, they ain't complaining. And I'm seeing sisters that's walking all day, 20 plus miles, selling stuff. You know what I mean? So, but you know, with the currency, yeah, you're right. You have to learn the language. You have to understand it. If you first come over here, they're gonna try to take advantage of you. Another thing, you must develop a relationship with the Ghanaians. It makes sense.
Right.
You know, they home. We coming home.
Right.
And you must be willing to advocate for yourself, but also have a certain level of sensitivity. And you can't be over here being a bleeding heart, because there's some professionals. I'm talking about there's some professional children, right? They be up like there's a main street in the capital called Oxford Street. It's in an area called Osu. There's more of a westernized environment where a lot of, you know, people from outside of Africa come, you know, to stay and do business. I seen children, there's a crew of them. They be out 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, be sleeping outside like in front of a Kentucky Fried Chicken, but get up and they see you are American, a tourist, especially if you have a book bag on your back or something, they coming up to you and they go like this. This means they want you to give them something. So they use the word chop. You know, chop is like giving them money. Chop like giving them something free. So you can't have a bleeding heart, but you at the same time got to be sensitive. There's times you should give, but then there's times you should know you're being hustled. So the beauty of growing up in the city, we've been trying for such things. You know what I mean? But like I said, the experience is beautiful. The money you can get a lot done. You can get, if you bring our money over here, it's a lot you can get done with a little bit, a lot. I mean, you can live your life. If you worked on your job so many years and you got retirement, great place to come home and build you a house. And you build your house. So they build their homes. You know, they got homes you can buy, but most of the people buy their land. When they buy it, go through the paperwork, they own it, then they get their house built. Now, let me say this as it relates to that. Don't send no money over here and you trying to buy something, unless you send it to me or send it to somebody you know. But if you send it over here, like you done met some brothers and sisters from the continent, brothers and sisters from Ghana online, and they showing you something that you can buy, like some property or something.
I've seen that.
You better not send your money, because it's gonna be gone, and they're gonna be gone.
So you do got some scammers over there trying to set up.
What?
Yeah.
They got scammers, yeah. Like scammers in America, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so-
I mean,
so
they're hustlers.
Right. So let me talk about the land. So what about buying a piece of land? Do you pay taxes yearly on it?
No.
Like you
Once
do
you
here?
buy the land.
Yeah.
Once you buy the land, it's yours.
And you pay taxes on it every year. Do you do that there?
No,
You buy it, it's yours.
it's yours.
Wow.
Buy it, it's yours. Go
Yeah.
through the paperwork. You know, now this another thing. When you buy land here, though, you have to make sure, because they do stuff like this. So a family might own a plot of land, right?
Mhm.
So let's say one of the family members, like this, normally like the senior brother or somebody, is in charge of those kind of process. So let's say he's selling you the land.
Mhm.
If you don't get out, do all your checks, make sure to go to the land commission and make sure everything's legit. That brother might sell you that land, but the siblings don't want it sold. So you would go start trying to build something, and the siblings will come like, he wasn't supposed to sell that. And there's been people from diasporans that came over and bought land, end up losing the land and losing their money because they didn't follow that process and they got taken advantage of. So you got to be real careful and you know, dot your I's across your T's at another level when it comes to that. You can't just come over here be on an emotional high and think everything is smooth and cool. You got to do your homework, and you got to be mindful of who you're dealing with. And there's a lot of beautiful people that'll help you. They will help you, but there are people that if you don't know no better, you'll get taken advantage of. So, but yeah, you buy your land, it's your land. You build on it. You build your house on it. They make the bricks. They're very creative over it. Now, here's another thing. We talk about CP time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't. They got a thing here called Ghana time that makes CP times look like it's early.
Really?
They don't be on no. They ain't in no rush.
Wow.
So you can't be They ain't in no rush for nothing. So you have to be mindful of that, because we tend to like to be like at this time. We have from the European experience and being in the West. We very time conscious, and I'm not saying that's wrong, but over here in certain situations they don't be in a rush. So you have to be mindful of those these are the things you must learn and know. When you over here, that you don't be in a rush. And then let me share this too. If you're looking for a Taj Mahal experience over here, you can get that. But if you're looking for a real experience, here's some of the real experiences I've had. So prior to getting my apartment, I'm blessed to be have a brotherhood with a Ghanaian. So I'm at his home. So the water went out. Okay. So when the water went out, they say they have to go fetch water. So he had to go like 20 minutes down the road, and with these big gallon, like 30 pound, I don't know how it's like 30 gallons probably containers, so that you have water. So since I've been in Ghana for 9 months, in February, I stayed in a place with actually some brothers and sisters from Ohio for a month, and it was a nice apartment, real nice. It was actually a 4-bedroom apartment, 3 bath. It was nice. I took a traditional shower. When I stayed with my friend in the village, he has a nice shower, but it don't have no roof on it, so it's actually outside. Like you outside, you can see the sky, but it's tile. It's nice to shower. All right. Well, when the water didn't run through the village like it's supposed to, I had to take what's called bucket baths. So you run water in a bucket, get like a small bowl, and put the water on, lather up, and then rinse yourself off. I say to people, I'm a bucket bath pro. I actually like to take a bucket bath more than I like taking showers like the traditional way. And Another thing, there's not, in many areas here, there's not a lot of bathtubs. So that's another thing. Most of the time they take the showers, and then, like I said, bucket baths. Tell you another thing. I met a young man on Facebook right before I left. He invited me to where he lives. He lives in the eastern region, and so the eastern region. So, because I'm more on the west side of the country. I go to the eastern region called Acropone. You got to go up in the mountains. Actually, this is the area where Sister Rita Marley, actually, Bob Marley's ex-wife, she live in that area. It's up in the mountains. It's beautiful places. Go up this mountain. Over there, it's foggy there. Where I am in the west side, it's always hot. But this area in the morning is fog. You got some transition of weather. Well, when I go to his house, we live with grandma, nice house, nice bathroom, nice. But they didn't have any running water like a traditional water run through plumbing. They didn't have it. So everybody here has water barrels or water containers, and then like what you will see on most houses is these big water tub. They big water tubes, not like tubes. I'm saying the wrong thing, but they collect water. They large. You buy them for your house,
right?
So that when rainwater, you can use the rainwater, to catch the water. But in this house they had like big garbage cans full of water, and so when you taking a shower, I'm taking a bucket bath. Like I wasn't taking a traditional shower, water coming out of the pipes. You know, it wasn't that. You know, so you know, so those kinds of things, and then also the power. There's been times the power goes straight out, like, and when the power go out, you don't know when it's coming on. So, so if you're not a person that's adaptable, these are things you must get used to. Now you don't have to. There's places in Ghana that's nice, but even some of those places sometimes the power go out. So you know, these are things that you, and these are not things necessarily that I knew that I was going to naturally experience, but I was adaptable. I was, my spirit was, I'm accepting what I'm accepting. You know what I mean? Even though I actually was prepared for cold showers because of my basketball experience in college in Sanford, Florida, where I was in an apartment with no lights and no hot water for a month and a half, trying to finish. But so I was prepared. So, so go ahead.
Let me ask you about the influence in Ghana with Europeans and the Chinese. What do you see over there in the influence? And also, how strong is the government there? In other words, if I was planning on to investing in Ghana, what's my chances? Because right now I'm reading some things about the Chinese are coming over there, buying up land, fixing roads, and possibly even loaning money to Ghana, almost like in a similar what they did with Kenya, loaned them so much money that they weren't able to pay back, so they end up losing their port. So what do you see over there when that? What do you see over there on those issues of the Europeans moving in, buying up property? Because I've heard of gentrification is happening there too. So tell me about that.
All right, let me start here with the first point. You can come here. You can. There's diasporans here that own businesses, establish businesses, and all those things. So you can. Those things you can do. Again, I'm gonna put some of the onus back on us because this is about us taking a high level ownership. It's unfortunate that the Chinese are able to do what they're able to do. I don't totally blame them. I blame us. And when I say us, now I'm talking about the Ghanaians. Now, one of the things you'll learn is most of the land in Ghana is controlled by a chief or a families. Okay. So like we know, and see, it ain't no time for denial no more. So it's truth time. We understand that part of our enslavement had some assistance from our brothers and sisters here in the continent. But at the end of the day, we always know the mastermind is the colonizer. So we ain't never letting them off the hook. But Chinese don't know where certain places are in terms of gold, bauxite, and things like that. Somebody has to direct them to that environment, right? What I also say this, if we, the diasporans,
oh, look like I lost you, brother. Right at a good point. All right, let's see.
Sorry, yeah.
You good?
It's
Okay.
we the diasporans. Now I'm here. We the diasporans. I'm talking about the African Americans, us from the Caribbeans, us from everywhere where the diasporans are around the world outside of the motherland. If we came here and invested in the motherland, we wouldn't have that conversation. But we're not investing in it, and it's purposeful. The way they wired our minds in terms of colonizing both of us, we didn't see, and we don't see even now the value of what's here. What I'm gonna say to you who listen, everything in terms of natural resources are here. Everything. Think about it. The Chinese really don't have no natural resources.
Right, exactly.
Right. But what happens is because we haven't come, and we know historically, most of the African continent, in terms of leadership presidents, most of them are corrupt. Okay. Most of their governments are being Europeanized and controlled. So what happens is, yeah, those things still exist. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, the people, some of the stuff that go on here ain't cool, like infrastructural. Like I think you've seen the video where I'm driving to the Capitol. I got to this one area, it was raining, and probably I would say for at least 2.5, 3 miles, the road was flooded and was running like it was a river. So that's infrastructural, right? How the power goes out, that's infrastructural. And you got some of the most high technological minds here, right? So, but what has to happen is we have to come, because when we come with a different mind in terms of advocating, in terms of a certain level of confidence. Because believe it or not, some of the Africans here, some of the Ghanaians, they don't even have confidence about where they at. And then what's also unfortunate, and this from a governmental thing, they export, they export, right? Things that they don't need to. No, I'm sorry. They import things that they don't need to import. They got everything here, but they import things they don't need to import. And so what the Chinese has done, because they didn't have this opportunity to get in some of these villages, pay the chiefs off, pay political people off, they control environments, right? Where they have a thing called, I think it's one of the things they eat is made out of corn. It's called banku or maize. It's something that they make that the Chinese now learn how to make and now sell it to other places in Ghana. To, like even here, like here in Elmina, and that's where most of you will find the fishermen boats, right? And they're in both Elmina and Cape Coast. But Elmina, they have a fish warehouse that's controlled by the Chinese, right? So it's those things, right? And so if we come more and start investing, we got to get. It's a race. Life is a race.
That's interesting.
Go ahead.
So and let me go here, and I'm gonna try to round this up with this question here about the Ghanaians, and do they know the history of colonialism and how it works to allow them in so easy? But also, I want to talk about. I'm reading about bleaching cream. It's very popular there. And it's almost as though, well, maybe, we kind of beyond that. Even though we've been known to bleach our skin, but we kind of like beyond that. But at the same time, we have more of an understanding of how the European work and how they are trying to get in. And so the question becomes, the way I'm seeing things happening here in America, where you have those talking about not trusting Europeans and seeing what they're doing. We also going to talk about this thing called vaccine and what they're doing over there too. Right. But
so let me go to that point.
Okay.
So the point about the bleaching, I haven't really seen that much, but I think it does exist.
Okay.
But colonization. Now here's another thing I didn't know. But it was beautiful. I wouldn't have never been able to clearly understand this until I was here. In some instances, in many actually, our enslavement in America and the colonization over here, their colonization on some levels was worse than our enslavement. And here's my concept. Why? Like you said, we know the colonizer. We experienced the colonizer at its highest level of, mutilation, mistreatment, disregard, right? So what happens is they got colonized. So although they got independence, Ghana got independence, they haven't on many levels haven't learned how to fight for their own liberation. And I'm not talking about fight for your own liberation. I'm talking about your conscious mind fight in terms of being free mentally and understanding the power of who you are and where you are. I've said this to many Ghanaians. They'd be like, "Oh, it's we don't have much." I say, "You're in the richest continent in the world, right?" So the colonization, what occurred, it was heavy over here, and it still exists. because it's very, very subtle. You know, we kind of got a direct experience in dealing with it, where they had an indirect and it's subtle, and they still had this dependence on, like, you know, the French in terms.
Let's see if we can get him back. Let's see. So yeah. See if my brother can get back in. I have a few more questions for him too, actually, before we close out. Okay. Let's see if he gets back in real quick. The Ghana mission. Let me put this up real quick of what he's doing. Manifest 21. Actually, they've taken a lot of goods to Ghana, and it looks like he's trying to come back now.
I'm back.
There you go, brother. I was just showing your flyer.
Yeah.
Manifest 21. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah. All right, let me finish that point though about, okay. See, what happens is the more we come.
I lose you again. Okay. Okay, y'all, we're looking like we're having some technical difficulties here. We are speaking with Nadir from Ghana, so hey, that's how it works sometimes with the information that we are trying to. Okay, he's going to try to come back in again. We're going to see if we can finish this up. Okay. Okay, look like I'm on. There he is. No. Okay, y'all, we look like we're having some technical difficulties, so I may just close out from here. That was a good bill with Nadir in Ghana. And we actually had some more questions, but I definitely hope everyone got some information that is needed to move into Ghana or thinking about moving to Ghana and the relationship. Really wanted to talk to him about the vaccines and the information that's out there and what they're doing. I wanted to talk to him about the chiefs over there buying up land, people becoming chiefs on their own land. I wanted to finish this build about the Europeans and the Chinese. So anyway, doesn't look like I can get him back. Okay, let's see. He said 2 minutes. He just texted me. Okay. Maybe we can get him back. But anyway, I want to also talk about the vaccines, how they're pushing the vaccines or not pushing the vaccines. and what this government role in the vaccines over in Ghana. I hear that Ghanaians was the first to receive the vaccine. However, they are not willing to take it. How about that? And I also want to talk about the push for LGBT Q&A over in Ghana, with the United States trying to push them to allow LGBT to set up there. I find it kind of interesting too, even want to push that kind of agenda. I definitely want to know what they think of that, and are they all aware of that agenda and what's going on with the genocide. So anyway, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get this brother back. Looks like we may have to close out because actually we're pushing past our hour and a half. So I want to thank everyone for coming in and hanging out with me on this build. Please, again, share this content, get it out there, let everybody check it out. Click like, and let's just share information. So let me close out for here. Again, thank everyone for joining us with this build, and hope to see you next week, where we'll be talking about crystals and stones and the relationship they have in energy. Okay, so see y'all next week. Peace.